Good morning, darlings. So we last spoke over a week ago, and it was just before we had this attack. And I was telling you the 6th of October, we had the third quarter. That's the 610 that we see on the Mad Hatter's top hat in Alice of Wonderland. And we just had yesterday the 1010, and the 1010 is also the Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, the holiest day in Judaism. The 10th of Tishrei is the first month of the civil year and the 7th month of the ecclesiastical year in the Hebrew calendar. The name of the month is Babylonian. It is a month of 30 days. Tishrei usually occurs in September, October on the Gregorian calendar. So 1010, PlutO moved forward, and the 6th of the 10th was the date, the 6th of October, that we had the Yom Kippur War, also known as the Ramadan War, the October War, the 1973 Arab-Israeli War, or the Fourth Arab-Israeli War, was an armed conflict fought from the 6th to the 25th of October, so that's 6 to 7. The attacks began in the early morning of the 7th of October. 2 and 5 is 7. So in 1973, between Israel and a coalition of Arab states led by Egypt and Syria, the majority of combat between the two sides took place in the Sinai Peninsula and the Golan Heights, both of which were occupied by Israel in 1967, with some fighting in African Egypt and northern Israel. Egypt's initial objective in the war was to seize a foothold on the eastern bank of the Suez Canal. So, we know what happened in the Suez Canal. We had that blockage, the fallopian tubes. Suez is Zeus, and subsequently leveraged these gains to negotiate the return of the rest of the Israeli-occupied Sinai Peninsula. The war began on the 6th of October 1973. So, dark side of the moon, I've been telling you for videos since I came back from New Zealand. They are celebrating this 50 years, that's 50, and all this going on at the moment is Venus. It's about Venus. So Venus is right now on the feet of Jesus, Mary Magdalene. So here's Venus under the ecliptic, and she spends 50 days under the ecliptic. So 50 years ago, we had this, let's see, in 1973. Venus was exactly the same thing on the 6th. The 6th of October, 1973. Venus was also under the ecliptic. And when does she rise? Above. Okay, she rose above the ecliptic in Saturn, in Capricorn, exactly where PlutO is moving forward now, back to black. Back to Capricorn. So in 1973, Venus rose up here. She did that. Christmas Day, she was rising above the horizon in the true north. And now, back to now, 2023. Back to now. Venus is on the feet, it's in Leo, in Regulus, on Regulus, so for the day of that quarter moon. So that quarter moon, which we spoke about last time, was right on Sirius, the keeper of the four corners, Cyrus, the Persian king. Cyrus the Great. There he is, the keeper of the four corners. Right there, the four-winged guardian figure representing Cyrus the Great. Found on a doorway pillar at Passagadai, on top of which was once inscribed in 3 languages the sentence, "I am Sirius, the king." So, for this attack, we've got that quarter moon, half moon on Sirius. We've got the sun in the Virgin, in Virgo. We've got Mercury in domicile, in Virgo. We've got Venus preparing her journey, and she's going to rise up above as the sun moves into Libra. So the sun moves into Libra on Halloween Day, and we've got Venus, the ruler of Libra, where we've also got on the bronze serpent, on the pole, we've got a conjunction of Mars and Mercury, the sun, and all in Libra. And we've got Venus rising in Ishtar on the east, the whore of Babylon. And the attacks began as we had this finger of God. Everything I was explaining in the last video, it's all happening. So where's my free astrology? So this is the attack. The last video I was showing you on the 6th. This was all announced on the morning on the 7th of October. And there is your Yod, your finger of God, which is very much like, so I'll be showing you these images after, but this is this image I've been showing you. Morning star, Venus is the morning star. On the west, 263 days. And I think this is, you know, one of the numbers of that first attack. 255 or, you know, somewhere around this. And there for 8 days, we've got Venus below the horizon under the ecliptic. And then she rises as the evening star. So this looks... We've got Jupiter rules Pisces, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. These are the two. It's your religion, your spirituality. And you've got Pluto now retrograding back to Capricorn. From Capricorn, he's in Sagittarius. Neptune retrograding in Pisces, making this semi-sextile. And these two inconjunct lines, which is a finger of God to Venus. So this post here was because yesterday we had the moon. We've got the waning crescent moon preparing for the big eclipse, the ring of fire, solar eclipse in Virgo, moon and Venus conjunct on Regulus. It was 1010 XX. That is this religious date annually on the 10th. So this year It's on the 1010, and 50 years before we had this war. So we're right at dark side of the moon, as we just saw in 1973. So 1973, 10/6, Jupiter was in Capricorn. He was taking the place of Saturn, and right now we've got Saturn on the Lamb, on the sacrifice of the Lamb, everything I was explaining in the last video, the thalamus opposing Venus. So here's Saturn, right opposite, in between, right in the middle of that yod. And in 1973, we had exactly what Pluto is doing now, coming in, the goats, sacrifice of the goats, Capricorn, and Israel. Israel is northeast. This is the axis of the new god, of the new axis, northeast, opposite southwest. That is the galactic gap of Paul, Sagittarius, Jude Paul, Pisces, Jude Pete, and they're rising in this axis, this northeast. So Gaza, Israel, Jordan, this is all the same longitude, latitude between 31, that's your 13, and 34, 33, and is this Ra and ELLE. Mars rules Scorpio. Isis, Mars rules Aries, and that's your spine. Aries rules the head, the hippocampus, the V. The symbol for Aries is the V, and the sexual organs, that makes that ram as well. Scorpio rules the sexual organs. So your tree of life, your spine, your Jordan line. We've got on the 14th, I saw in the newspapers here, ELLE of Jordan, a village next to me here. We've got some big rock group, heavy metal, mixture between rock, heavy metal, playing for the eclipse on the Isle of Jordan. You know, all these concerts, it's all subconscious. It's, you know, basically magic. They create the energy, just like we had for on the 5th of August at 5. We had massive fireworks for D'Artagnan, rising this god, this green god. So you've got your big breast of Venus. We see that all the time. This is the mosque. This is Israel on mosque, the new gods, and it's basically Saturn is at home and Jupiter is in Jupiter. This is let's go back to now. That's now. So we've got Jupiter on the ram. We've got Jupiter in the heads. We've got Uranus exactly where he was for the opening. Let's put the planets. Oh, we don't want all those planets. Uranus. So Uranus is right in between, in stag. That deer, that cow is also the, it's the deer hunters. It's been made into a stag, in stag ram. We've got on Medusa, on your medulla, on your ability to get past this high priestess that sits between the Boaz Jachin pillars. Virgo, you know, this is your Rapunzel in the tower. It's the tower. I'll show you Uno's video. So Uno's video, Yom Kippur War, which I didn't know about. I always learn these things. So it's very short. So we've also got we've also got a comet right in Gemini at the moment called Hartly. Hartly was a children's series of our generation, a hare. We're in the year of the hare, and we've got the comet on the Keeper of the Four Corners, Sirius, where all this began. The moon, that half moon, was on Sirius. Showing you, so this is some film he found. Uno always knows the films that go with everything. So we're really in the world of where everybody. So this is your Rapunzel, the girl of the tower. The tower and the new Lara Croft. So when you mix the High Priestess with the tower, so this is the 16th card, that's why this boy of 16 years old cut down the sycamore tree. And with the High Priestess, Virgo, so we've got the sun in Virgo, we've got Venus on Regulus, and we've got Saturn at home, making that opposition, that line between Solomon, Leo Cancer, Sun, Moon, and the true twin peaks, Capricorn and Aquarius, Saturn at home on Fomalhaut. So this is the fixed cross, standing up straight. So Virgo represents the High Priestess. Gemini, the Magician, is the High Priestess. The Tower is the 16th card, one of the most dreaded cards in tarot reading. It depicts a tower being struck by lightning with people falling off it. The tower symbolizes upheaval, crisis, and destruction. So, the High Priestess and the Tower combination. The High Priestess and the Tower is a powerful one that can have a transformative effect on our spiritual and daily lives. When these two cards appear together in a tarot reading, it suggests a period of upheaval and change. But with the guidance of the High Priestess, one that can lead to increased self-awareness and wisdom, this combination can imply a sudden realization that something within us needs to change, or that our external circumstances are about to undergo a significant transformation. So for this attack, we had the moon on Sirius, Gemini, and we've got the sun in Virgo. Mercury rules both Gemini and Virgo. Mercury is in at home, exalted, domicile, in Virgo, in the High Priestess. And we've got, for this eclipse coming up, 12, 13, 14. So we're going to have Mercury, Sun, Moon, conjunct on the blue star, Spica. Let's have a look on here so we can see the comets. I'll show you this comet. Let's go back to now. So that Nishimura is now underneath Mars, Sun, Mercury. I'll just show you Gemini, Hartly HARE. There's Hartly. So Hartly is 103p pH, Harry Potter, perfect harmony, harmonic procession. You need, this is this 13th sign. It's everything that's going on now, bringing up in the northeast, between the galactic gap between Scorpio and Sagittarius of Fukius, the 13th sign. And 13 is Mo's cow, Moscow, the 13th chakra. 13th chakra, Moscow. Images. So 13, Moscow. Moscow. And then right here, we got the Star of David right next to that 13. We look at the signs mirrored down on Earth. So we saw last video that we've got this for the eclipse in America. We've got Taurus right on that line. We've got Scorpio right here, and we've got for Gaza, Israel, we've got between Virgo and Libra, we've got this mark right here, which is exactly where Venus is rising. Venus is rising above the horizon as Ishtar right here. That's where we had the gates of Ishtar. Lion gates in Hammas, images right on the breast of Venus. They've got all these images. Lion gates. Won't let me open it, but Israel occupation forces have assaulted Muslim worshippers at the Lion's Gate. Got here in The Guardian, Hollywood studio Lion's Gate brings back mass mandate. So I told you that we've got here 3 weeks. That is the 21 tarot cards. We've got 3 weeks. So we just saw in the video, in this video, we just saw Luke 21:20. So this is exactly 20 days of not a single cloud in the sky. The most beautiful weather. Virgo is rising as la femme solaire, the solar sun in Virgo. The moon is in Gemini, turning the high priestess and the magician into the twin peaks. When the twin peaks are fixed, air Aquarius, where Saturn is now on the thalamus, and Capricorn, high cardinal Earth. This is Jack and Jill, Gemini, being turned into lunar energy, the little boys, the 7-year-old boys, and 7th of October, 2 twin boys, dub L, 77, LL is your 77, and the G Gaza. We've got Sun in Virgo, and the attack was on the 7th of October. And it was in 2007 that Gaza was created. So we've had this actress, Julie Gardens, not Julie Garden, but it's Jour G Julie Gayet, 20 days filming Julie Gayet, 20 days film of Olamper. Oh, Judy Garland's. That's, sorry, my dog is snoring. Julie Gayet, just like Julie Garland. Jour G. So all this is happening as we've got PlutO right under the rotating Altair, 77 kilometers from Earth, or some 77, and this is the rotating, spinning 4x4, 4x4 wheel ahead. We've just had some Max Orange Dutchman winning Formula One, Mad Max coming in the circuit. You know, this is we're at that 4x4. She is doing an exactly 20 days of filming, and we have had this 20 and 21 days of filming. So it began on the 26th of September for 21 days in St Leo, the Lion Gates, and she's filming about, I showed you last time, Olympe de Gouges. So the Olympics, the Olympe, I told you in London, they've rebuilt Olympia, Gouges, Gaza, the G in the middle. This was the famous feminist of the revolution that was guillotined. So that's your 20 days of this sunshine. We've got gas pipelines exploding everywhere. Saturn, Capricorn, it's gas. The cardinal cross is gas. The fixed cross is solid. The mutable cross is liquid. We're at that neutron, proton, electron. This is that merging. We've got Jupiter. My dog's snoring so loud. One sec. So Jupiter is very much the ruler of religion. So this is on the 7th. We've got Jupiter in Aries, ruled by Mars. Mars is in Virgo on Spica. So this Mars is where the eclipse is going to be. Mercury, Sun and the Moon. So this was for that opening on the 7th. But Mars, the ruler, was on Spica, the blue star, as Jupiter is in Aries and Mercury rules with Jupiter, the mutable cross. So he's got Jupiter in the ram, in the heads. Mars that rules Scorpio and Libra. We've got the tail of the snake just leaving that bronze serpent, Libra, coming into Virgo for 18 months. They go in the anti-clockwise direction. Let's put the planets, the transitions now. So Mars has moved on now, and we've got that tail coming right on Spica for the eclipse. This is going to be this is going to be a Lord of the Rings. It's going to be an Odyssey 21 Lord of the Rings eclipse. And Jupiter rules Pisces and Sagittarius, where we've got PlutO and Neptune. So Jude Pete's been ruling Christianity for the last age, and now Jude Paul is coming in, bringing in the Islam energy, Jude Paul. So we're going to have a merging. We're going to have the pagan, we're going to have the orthodox, pagan, Olympic, Olympus rise, as there's this merging between Gaza, that strip that strip in the middle is making that new birth. It's the new, Palestine, Muslim, and the sacrifice is yet again going to be Israel, which is just the two sides of our brain merging. Venus is going to be spending 7 years in the feminine axis of Isis and Osiris. It's been made into a masculine energy because we've got the god in this gap between Gemini and Taurus and Scorpio and Sagittarius. That's why for the wedding of Diana and Charles in St Paul's Cathedral, we had them walking up the aisle to the altar, to altar, here in this gap where Pluto is right now. The head of the snake is moving into Pisces. So we've got mental health. We've got Harry and Meghan bringing in all the mental health right now into all the companies. We've got Neptune for 15 years. So Jupiter will be ruling mental health, and the stag, the green gods, pharmaceutical, climate change, and all the rest of it, sustainable everything. And this is for Jupiter. We've got that V for victory. We've got right on, I noticed that 50 years ago, we go back to 1973. Very interesting. We've got Venus right between that true merging. What date? Let's have, that will do. It's between the 6th and the 25th. The war, the Yom Kippur War. So Venus was right between Scorpio and Libra. That's the true merging, not this merging that's going on now between Libra and Virgo, high cardinal with a mutable sign. We had Uranus right on Spica, and now Uranus is entering into Taurus as the head of the snake. The tail of the snake enters Virgo and the head enters Pisces. Mary Magdalene and Jesus, when the true Jesus is when we get to Aquarius, Formahalt, the upright pillar. And that is what that merging is, that bronze serpent on the pole. Moses was in Aries Alpha looking at Libra, and Mercury was at that time just entered Libra. Jupiter had entered into Capricorn, the goat, and the moon, Mars are on this V for victory. And right now, Saturn, where's Saturn? Yeah, Saturn had to be. Saturn is in Gemini right now. There is no more Gemini. The summer solstice is on the wand of Merlin, just in Taurus. This is the gap. Saturn was in the gap 50 years ago. A little look in 2007, the creation of Gaza. We've got Mars on the wand of Merlin, still in Gemini. We've got Saturn in Leo, in Leo, the lion Babylonian king. We've got Uranus between, just still in Aquarius, and we've got Jupiter on this 13th sign in 2007. And Mercury just between Virgo and Libra. Back to now, we've got the V for victory, Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter and Saturn on each side of the V of Pisces. So Jupiter is that index finger, Saturn is the middle finger. When those two fingers are held apart, we have that open. When Jesus holds those two fingers together, is Jesus, Mars, Mercury, the Sun, Saturn, and he's got Jupiter right up. Normally those two fingers should be held together. They're bent. Here's one of them standing up together. This is Harry's chart, which we've seen before. He's got Sun and Mercury, the Dauphin, in Leo. He's got Venus in Mercury, in Virgo. It's all about Venus is going to be entering into Virgo soon, and he has got this very strong Taurus, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Gemini. He's got this area of the gap. Oh, now I've got a Frolon. Is he going to go back out? Oh, he's gone back out. Great. So Uranus and Mars conjunct on Antares. He's got his wound right on Aldebaran. He's got his moon in Aries. I think we have checked on Stellarium. I think that is. So he's this fire, and let's put we got the transitions. So the moon was, we've got Venus right now on Regulus. Last night the moon and Venus are here, and he is busy bringing up this mental health at the moment. And he's got Jupiter in Sagittarius as well. So he's got Jupiter in Sagittarius, Sun in Leo, Moon in Aries. I bought the book Spare when I was in England, and I've just started reading it, and it's quite early on, so it's it's a book really showing him that it's from the death of his mother. So the mother, Diana, very much playing Nut, the Milky Way, the she-wolf with the two boys, Romulus and Remus. He's got his horizon right on Romulus and Remus, on Merlin and Arthur right here, and Diana, the moon goddess, Taurus. So it's about his trauma on his own, just with the father who since that premonition dream I had just before Diana died, and I was sitting with her in the Café de Pont d'Alma talking about our husbands. When he writes about his father, it reminds me so much of my ex-husband. Also, Charles is Libra, and I always thought he was Scorpio like my ex-husband, but they were both Libra, although I have just seen my ex-husband was the 28th of October. He is actually just Virgo. But he's got a lot of that air, of that Libra energy as well. So the distant father, he's not there at all, and this very strong son with Willy, which is all the Virgo energy, and we've got this Sun King. So when he was 13, he was taken to Africa on a journey, so very much this out of Africa, this lion cub king. And I've just read last night a section where he was trained as a young man in Balmoral for this stag hunting. So he was taken, and they're really put in positions of war. They were sent off to children, and he's playing war all the time and fighting, and they're quite violent fights almost with real guns. And this scene where he kills a stag, so he's happy because he killed it first shot. but the man training him, the Scottish man training him, he took his head and buried it in the guts of the stag. So, I mean, how traumatic is that? The smell, I mean, this is the deer hunters. This is all that, that war, which the Russian roulette, Romulus and Remus, RR, 1818 is half of the 360 wheel. And it's something going on with that stag. And just like in the film Bambi, losing its mother and being brought up by the stag, finding your, you know, your worth as a man in the killing of the stag, to bring up the ram. In stag ram, we've got Jupiter in the ram, in Aries, in Islam right now. So Uranus is right on his moon at the moment, right on Algol. This is Medusa, and he will be having his Uranus opposition right up here, so that will be a big time, and that will be in about 3-4 years. Let's go back to this video. So this interesting, we've got exactly like, and there you've got that crescent moon, exactly as we see in Odyssey 2001. So 21 again. 2001, not 21. Still the 2-1. Right. So that is exactly 50 years since that war. It's the 5-0. The sacrifice of the goats, the tabernacle. One. So today is the 11th of the 10th. That's 111. So we had this moon yesterday, waning crescent, October the 7th, and we had it again yesterday. And we're going to have that ring of fire. So I've been showing you this in every single video and post, and the wall, Pink Floyd's. Let's go through a few posts. I don't have very many, so this should only be an hour long. So we are in the gap between the Lucifer sigil, Saturn contracts and Jupiter expands. It's that midway point we need to master, not get crucified in the passage, keep the flow and stay light, as in not heavy, not light, phosphorus, the fall of light, spirit into matter. V is your voice, Pisces, 12th door. We are being taken through the 9th door. As Paul, you need the balance as the scissor sisters open and shut correctly. A yod between Neptune and Jude Pisces 12th and Pluto, Jude Paul in Sagittarius 9th, pointing to Venus in Leo. Venus is exalted in Pisces and in detriment in Virgo. So these wonderful images of Lars. So the sigil of Lucifer is in between, and this is what's going on right now. We've got Neptune. We've got Neptune in Pisces, we've got Pluto in Sagittarius, and we've got Venus right here with Saturn on the true third eye. And there's Jesus with the 2 fingers. Open. Eris, the liberator, that was on the 4th, so that was the 14 pieces of Osiris day, the 4th of the 10th. And for that time, I just had Aries right on the east. So this is exactly like that dark side of the moon. So this G spot, this G, the square earth and compass heaven, which houses the Freemasonic G spot, which is the 7. This G is what science calls gravity. This is wrong. It is in fact called dielectric inertia and acceleration, and this accelerates towards inertia, center of earth, the still point or equilibrium counter space. So finding that absolute merging. So in a way, the sigil of Lucifer is being able to make that passage. About the bullseye, finding that. So we've got all the October at the moment, everyone, pink October, pink Floyd's, pink between white water, red air, as we've got the head and the tail going from Libra, red air. We've got the tail going into Virgo, and we've got on the other side, we've got water, white water, the head going into water, leaving Libra reds. The breast of Venus, this passage point, the eclipse coming up, and the eclipse on the 2024 is going to be in that northeast. So Eliza, Israel, Elle on, Eliza, line, this new line. So again, it's like the Philosopher's Stone here, the opening of that Osiris Rex capsule that went to Bennu. I was said everything in the last video that we were coming up to this, you know, this is it. 369. Getting stuck there again on St Paul's Cathedral. We've got the William Blake with his compass closing us in at Paul as Sagittarius. Pluto's in Sagittarius. There's your 50 days. That V for victory. And Venus is going to rise up on Halloween. So, you know, I hope that you're joining all the dots, because it's all happened. I was saying all this in my last video, and then we've had it. The very first videos I made, I was explaining basically that between Israel and Palestine was to create the merging and the new birth. You know, I did a video trying to explain everything in French, and I don't like to go back and listen to those old videos because I see so much more with the years, but that was basically, I always said that it was this build up to what's going on. Israel and Palestine was always about the birthing of the new one. This just came to me, for weddings and a funeral is exactly the same as liberty, equality, fraternity, and death. So today we're that 111, and it's, you know, you've got to find the fourth corner. We've got, you know, we've got right now in we had for the 7th of October, we had the quarter moon on Sirius, and we've now got Hartly HARE on Sirius. So they show you in the middle, they show you the four corners and the girl. This is just like in the tarot card, Christ in between the four humours. This is the 5-pointed star. You've got to get that middle point. There she is, 21. between Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus and Leo. So you've got this merging of below of these two corners. When you've got to get between Scorpio to Aquarius, there's the four humours and there's the prize giving for 4 funerals and a wedding. You've got the 4 boys and the girl in the middle. Ways about that, the bringing back together the 14 pieces of Osiris. Eyes on the horizon. At Hatter's Tea Party, this is exactly what I said. So this all began on the night of the 6th. That's my great-great-grandma and Mary Ryan. And that's in the National Portrait Gallery by Juliet Cameron. And there in the northeast, you've got the upside down pentagram. And you've got this beast in the northeast, the new golem. That, the X, Little Red Riding Hood, Virgo, in between the 4 corners, it's the same thing. Judy Garland, Julie Gayet, this black and white to colour. So you've got your 3 crosses. Jupiter, Pisces, Sagittarius, Mercury, Gemini, Virgo, Sun, Leo, Venus, Taurus, Mars, Scorpio, Saturn, Aquarius. We've got right now pointing to Leo, the feet of Jesus. And we've got Saturn right on Fomalhaut. So the lamb, the lion lies down with the lamb. And we've got Mars, the ruler of Scorpio, and Mars, the ruler of Aries, with Jupiter in Aries at the moment. He only rules the mutable cross. And we've got Neptune in Pisces, Pluto in Sagittarius, making this Yod to Venus for that date, the 7th. And then Venus rules Libra, Saturn rules Capricorn, Moon rules Cancer. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and this is basically where we're going. Is Ra and the birth of Elon with his breast of Venus, Mosque, and this La La Land of mental health, green gods. The Levites, offspring of Judah, Leo, will capture nature's tabernacle for themselves as the superior race. The fire war worshippers will be in control, while Jupiter in Aries, kill the male, transform the female to get her, the twin towers smashed onto each other as grey and orange as Freedom Tower. Every sign and planet of nature is being crossed out. So, exactly, and there's your pink, this merging between white and red. So that can be Pisces, Aquarius, that can be between Libra, reds, and Scorpio, white. But this is happening now. As we've got the, just as I explained, we're making this pink. This is the Pink Floyds. 5-pointed star, and there I was showing you the tower and the high priestess. It's Rapunzel. She doesn't find her twin flame. She doesn't find the merging, the 2 sides of her brain. And you've got the triple goddesses, and when they come together you get that last phase of the moon, the 4 phases of the moon. Temples, the 5-pointed star, the eye, that's Libra, Venus. Done that. Yeah, I was warning about the 10-6 again, the first quarter half moon on Sirius, Gemini, conjunct Hartly HARE comets. Also on Spica Blue Star, we have Mars Red conjunct Comet Nishimura in Virgo Alice. We are in the year of the rabbit hare at the Last Supper, Mad Hatters Haters, Tea Osiris and Rex Tea Party. Comet Hartly, designated as 103P Hartly, it's your 13 pH Harry Potter by the minor planet Centaur, is a small periodic comet with an orbital period of 648 years. It was discovered by Malcolm Hartly in 1986. That's the year that Pluto left Virgo at the Schmidt telescope unit. Siding spring. Okay, so Hartly 2 was the target of a flyby of the Deep Impact spacecraft as part of the EPIOX mission on the 4th of November 2010, which was able to approach within 700 kilometers of Hartly 2 as part of its extended mission. As of November 2010, Hartly 2 is the smallest comet which has been visited. Okay. Discovery and orbits. Comet Hartly 2 is a small Jupiter family comet having an orbital period of 646 years. Okay, we know that. And on the 26th of September 2023, the comet will pass those kilometers. We've got a 144 people. That's 72 plus 72, the Twin Peaks. Sun spends 72 years in each age. Saturn's the only planet to rule two signs side by side, Aquarius, Capricorn. Saturn at home in Aquarius, ruler of Capricorn, where Pluto's coming back to in January. So, and it will come to perihelion on the 12th of October and brighten to about magnitude 8.2. So all this makes me think of Claire de la Lune, mon ami Pierrot. This is in the light of the moon. Pierrot, my friend, loan me your pen to write something down. My candle's dead. I've got no flame to light it. Open your door for the love of God. In the light of the moon, Pierrot replied, I don't have a pen. I'm in bed. Go to the neighbours. I think she's there because someone just lit a match in the kitchen. In the light of the moon, likeable Harlequin. That is your rhombus, that is your fixed cross, Diana and Dodie, DD44 D-Day, they make under Altair in Harrods, Harold's, that's what they call Harry, this is Harry HARE, this HARE we're about to look at. Knocked on the brunettes, your diamond, your split world, the Harlequin, the Joker, knocked on the brunette's door and she responded immediately, who's knocking like that? And he replied, open your door for the God of love. In the light of the moon, you can barely see anything. Someone looked for a pen, someone looked for a flame. In all of that looking, I don't know what was found, but I do know that those two shut the door behind them. So that's a very famous French song, and that's because... So there is the moon conjunct Hartly on the 5th of October. We'll have to have a look and see what happens on that date. He's going to arrive, they said. '12th of October. Let's just have a look at Hartly on 12th of October. 12th of October, where is Hartly? So that's not the same Hartly as the comets. Comets, Hartly. That's there. We've got this, the Saints, Messiah 31, right opposite Virgo on I will say Andromeda. We got Hartly and Hartly. We've got an HH. And let's just watch Hartly. That is October the 12th, so he's going to be still right on Pollux, the boxer. So if we go backwards, okay, so Hartly. Come back to these pictures. So Hartly, HARE, discovered in 1986, the year that Pluto left Virgo. Alice, mutable Earth, as Pluto enters Capricorn. Queen of Hearts, Hecate, High Cardinal Earth. In January 2024, after retro period in Sagittarius, Teapot constellation, last time Pluto entered Capricorn, 1776. So there's Hartly HARE, for those who remember. There's the fox, Jupiter. So Hartly HARE in Gemini and Jupiter in Aries and Mercury currently in Virgo. That was for the 6th of October. We've seen that. It was all, I was warning people, 10/6, before we knew about the attack. So we had Mars on Spica. Year of the Hare, it was some book. Boom, boom. We were being told Sagittarius is leaving Sagittarius, the teapot. Teapot, there's Pluto. He moves forward 10/10. So I was just trying to say how big this was, the yellow black, as I have. It's just things happen and then people don't join the dots of what I've been saying. It's from Odyssey 2001, Mars making that stag masculine, that deer masculine in the teapot. There we had the Versailles dinner, which is very much this Last Supper, tea party, Pipkin hooligans, the president of New Zealand, Hipkins, PH again. It's 103P, the name of this comet. He looks just like the New Zealand president, Nigel P. HH. Oliver in the overworld, the Pipkins, gimme dat ting. Pipkins, Pipkins. Comet Hartly. Comet Hartly, there's your M31, the Messiah. And Hartly is, it's your MM 1313. Hartly is the 13. So that is the period that it's in our solar system. Okay, I can't go back. So look, there's the feather, there's the black phone, the hare. He was a very weird hare. And here we are, we're at that 10/6 date. We've just had it. Okay. And check out Uno's last video, the Sycamore Gap Tree. So again, he goes to the film with Richard Lionheart. That's where Venus is, in Leo. This was something in the newspapers about a nun who's going to be given sainthood, beatification, as that comet was on the Betelgeuse. star. So she died at 21. So that was all about this, again, this 21 days. She died in 1975, like R.B. Robin de Bois Russell Brand was born, is when Chiron left Pisces for Aries, and Chiron was discovered in 1977. Cycle between 48 to 51 years. So that was about that 21. These are these incredible sunsets that we've been having. The sky every single day, it's making so much electricity. If you have 3 weeks solids of this sun in Virgo, bringing up this solar energy in the Virgin, the femme solaire. This is a post from Jamie. I let you read that there. Very good. So you can read that. You can stop the video. And I added Hadrian's Wall is 73 miles long, west-east. That is your Vesica Pisces passage. The Chalice, 3773, that famous French film, is 37.2 degrees. Betty Blue is the Vesica Pisces oval-eyed Chalice passage, as we have the Chalice at Tours, Glastonbury. Hence why Charles was 73 when his mother died. It cuts the North England head. So north of England, Northumberland. You take out the M and you've got Uber, the urban girl, Tess d'Urberville. It cuts the North England head as Mary Queen of Scots was beheaded as Queen died on Virgin Mary's birthday at 96 and was brought down the Rose Line from Balmoral to South London, Babylon, 69-96. Capricorn Saturn, 1696 and 69 Cancer Moon. Cancer Capricorn is the original feminine high cardinal axis, the axe of Isis tree, solstice line Nile. Currently we leave the cardinal cross, north-south node and head tail enter Virgo Mary and Pisces Jesus Corona Victor feminine axis. So that axis is feminine. You can't have Mary Magdalene with a male Jesus. Jesus is Aquarius. This is a feminine axis. And the masculine axis is Gemini, Sagittarius. Jesus is Aquarius, fixed cross, not mutable feminine axis. The full moon, the 29th of September, and eclipse 14th October and October the 28th are all on the axis of Virgo Pisces, CV, coronavirus, corona victorious. There are 4 phases to the moon and there are 3 earth signs for each cross mutable, fixed, cardinal. The trip L goddesses are flipped to 777. Masculine axis of the mutable skull and bone cross is April the 8th, closure of the Great American Eclipse, and solar eclipse 14th October is on Tess La, LA Woman on Spica Blue Star, the star of harvest. North-south node remain 18 months on the mutable feminine axis, and the sycamore tree marks the line Nile of the rose line. Sycamore Trees is a song performed by Jimmy Scott as the Black Lodge performer in episode 29 of Twin Peaks. Venus is currently in Leo South. She has finished her last retro buckle every 8 years before Paris Olympics, where Jacques is birthed at Eiffel lamp between Sun, Moon, Leo, Cancer. She opposes the Twin Peaks, Aquarius, Capricorn, Saturn, Jupiter, Empire, ruler of mutable cross, with Mercury want to install their Jacques and Green God gap, and they are first creating 4 masculine moon phases to take her fertility. Osiris and Rex replace Corona Victorious. So that sycamore tree on the Hadrian's Wall, it's the gap, it's 55 north and 2.3 west. How wow I 50 fell your eye, Northumberland. That's the umbrella that opens, closes the Roman wall from Britannia, runs from west to east. That is the horizon. So we've got Venus rising up now above the horizon for that Halloween day, the 31st. And then on the 2nd, she'll be completely up. That's All Saints' Day. And just as I keep show you every time, Eliza Pilasky, who is the Amy Winehouse lookalike, and she was killed by 93 dogs in Villa Cotteret, where the armistice was signed between Compiègne and N, where I used to live. So Jane of Arc was caught in Compiègne, and in Laine, which is just another way of saying N again, N, we had this killing by the hunting dogs, the stag hunters. It's where I used to live. You've got the three forests, the stag hunters. The head is taken off. Mary Queen of Scots decapitated by the Eliza Macbeth line to birth the hormonal Liza. What was the tree of life in ancient Egypt? In ancient Egyptian mythology, female deities were most heavily associated with trees. The tree goddesses Hathor, Nut, and Isis. So Nut, Diana, she is turned into the Louvre, the female wolf mother, with the two twins going below the horizon, this animal, children brought up by a dog god, Israel, this new god, this last seven, the ELLE. ELLE is this passage of the 73 miles, 37 to make the Vesica Pisces is flip backwards, L, E-L-L-E. So 3773 backwards is L, E-L-L-E. The sycamore tree also grew primarily at the edge of the desert in proximity to the necropolises, which were the resting places for the dead. This would have given it a particular significance in Egyptian religion. From the sycamore tree grows the sycamore fig, which produces a milky substance that can sustain life. So milk, lunar pillar, Islam, Palestine, a new energy, lunar energy, the dark side of the moon. In Egyptian mythology, this substance was fed to the dead in the afterlife as a form of sustenance. So pituitary gland, sun, pineal gland, moon, and coming together at the medulla, we've got Uranus on Medusa as it was in 1939. You'll not run from me now, not in this circle of trees. Glastonbury Grove was a circular stand of 12 sycamore trees located in Washington's Ghostwood National Forest, close to Pearl Lakes and the town of Twin Peaks. In the center of the grove, flanked by two more sycamores, was a rocky pool containing a thick black substance resembling scorched oil. Under certain conditions, a translucent set of curtains would appear across the grove center, allowing passage into a red curtain labyrinth believed to be the mythical Black Lodge. Okay, so I went to the seaside, which means that I'm late on my newsletter. I went for one day, which puts me really behind on my work because every day is a very busy routine for me to just run my little life. That was the morning, the sun coming in through my front door. That's just about while my guitar gently weeps. I'm just saying the guitar is made in the image of her curvy waist. It's the Torah torso trunk. So before I knew about Israel, it's the Torah torso trunk, torus field that holds our organs with the neck, string, spine, penis, and the cords, nervous system. It's the vessel of the tree of life. As Nut, it had a head, turning pegs, and a head. She is the bridge back to spirit from flesh in both directions, from flesh to spirit, made electric. And the new air, hair plays an imaginary guitar. Air guitar is a form of dance and movement in which the performance pretends to play an imaginary rock or heavy metal style electric guitar. And that's just the lyrics. So here I'm picking up on Israel, and boom, you know, that middle bit was the JAFFA orange. So at the same time we've had, you'll see these images. So Isis, Ra, sun god, ELLE, the Canaanite gods. So Mars rules Isis, and Aries, Scorpio, Aries, that's your spine. And if you light the lamp, you get the ELLE on, you get the ELLE on, you get the light on. So in the newspapers, the 8th of October, Ra, ELLE is mind, spirit is your heart, heavier than the feather. Can you make this merging? This is what's happening now. This is pictures of Lars, the sacrifice of the fixed cross, the mutable cross of 322 will do the job. So that's your mutable cross, Jupiter, Mercury, Jupiter in Aries at the moment. And there you've got the two solar eclipses crossing right there. And they crucify the fixed cross. And we've got this pointing to Moscow, the 13th sign, the northeast, Gaza, through this Scorpion, Europe. And this picture of Lars again. So on the same day in the newspapers, we have the JFK. I've told you for years that that is the jellyfish cut, your diaphragm, Dorian Gray, the four frames, the keeper of the four corners, 7th of October, half a moon on Sirius, the keeper of the four corners, and we're coming up to the 60th anniversary of the assassination. And what are they telling us about? So then I have no idea who this man is. The world of Max, Mad Max, standing in the position of the cross, and they're talking about the four corners of the planet. They're talking about stuff. So that's where this eclipse on the 14th is, killing Taurus. So we've got this image. So for this full equinox, Scorpio, VirgO, Libra is right where Gaza is. Aquarius at the moment, we've got over New Zealand, we've got Capricorn in Australia. So maybe something with Pip Hipkins, Estella and Pip in Great Expectations. They were fooled. Pip was fooled. He thought Miss Havisham, Capricorn, Australia, was the person giving him money, when it was the gangster. It was Jupiter, currently in Aries over here. So Aries right on that 0 point of where this wheel began for this fall equinox. And Sagittarius, Scorpio under India at the moment. So there's Mad Max, orange, Dutch. There's your Tower, JAFFA oranges, Maffia, The Godfather. And on that day, we've got X20, so 1010. X marks the spot. You've got the Harlequin passage between two X's and 500, 50. I noticed at my local bar, there's your 20 francs, that's XX. And here you have been double crossed. This is going to make this double crossed for this eclipse. That northeast remains for the April the 8th. So Rosemary, the sister, sacrificed. 57-year-old woman with black hair and red trousers. Sedimora in 1975, that date again. The birth of Russell Brand, of Russell, whatever he's called. So Alexander Martin, 13th, is born in the 13th of September 1918, so that's just Rosemary's baby. It's your Magdalene. It's Venus and Virgo. Osiris, Horus, the King's Chamber. Got Saturn right on that Gaza right now, the seat of the soul. It's just all reminders. You know all this. The Ark of the Covenant. You can read everything. I'm just flicking through the pictures. That stone, this is the gap. Sagittarius, Gemini, exactly like on the charts of Harry. He's got his axis right in this gap. And that he's got Pluto, it's probably right by Spica. It's going to have the 9th and the 3rd house. So there is your green monster dividing and conquering mankind. Right now we see the young female Mary Magdalene being turned into the whore of Babylon and the male into a nobody genderless entity. I read all this in my last video. You can read that. So the false heaven on earth. You can read. That's exactly what's happening right now. Venus rising up between Virgo and Libra. There is Saint Martin de Tours, red cap, taking the female energy, Mars and the Sun taking over this female, making that deer into the stag. Instagram. Rising Osiris, Jesus as the stag. So this is what I meant, this disturbing scene in this book with Harry when his face is pushed into the guts of the dead stag. And this is that gap. This is what's coming up now, the birth of this green god. So the four corners, electric light orchestra, the spine. This Gaza is the 33. It's between the 31 and the 34 degrees. So this is it, the Jordan River. We've got this big concert for the eclipse in the Isle of Jordan where I live. A group called Storm, or Storm Concert or something. So the children of Israel, having been given the promise of return to this land, flowing with milk and honey, the pituitary and the pineal glands, and they're going to be sacrificed. And there is your 73 miles of Hadrian's Wall, and this is that film Betty Blue being risen with the eclipse on the blue star Spica. It's your yellow and black. He's got the Pac-Man on his video. Nuclear energy. You can't have a 13th sign. And there's Merlin, the keeper of the four corners, sitting in the middle. And we had for the opening the moon in Sirius and Mercury at home for the high priestess between the temples, the high priestess that stands between the fixed cross. They're creating this fake fixed cross, crucifying the fixed cross, merging the high cardinal with the mutable signs. We're at Clockwork Orange. There he is, killing Scorpio, killing and rising. So you've got Sirius and Altair, and you've got on this northeast Amit. The split of mankind, when the agenda of the genderless society rises out of the human gene pool, the psyop of splitting mankind into two homeless parts without an identity are complete, and the sacred created humanity out of nature has fallen. The agenda will be fulfilled. The introduction of the 13th sign of Ophiuchus Ophiuchus will bring in the sterile and barren humanity, in which the sacred balance of feminine and masculine polarity will be corrupted in the human electromagnetic. The Milky Way will be split, mankind will be split, and the false Lucifer energy will be able to corrupt anything caused by the big psyop forced onto humanity. The sad part is that few see it, and all the positive masculine and negative feminine signs and planets will be forever destroyed for the old gene pool because it didn't see the trap. Thank you, Lars. J&B pillars. That's all it is, Israel. It's just this merging of redshift, blue shift, Taurus field, and rising La Marianne, dark side of the moon, and the canary, the medulla that rises, the snake on the pole, the top of the pole. All those bits shall live. That's in Madeleine, the 8th, Venus, full solar eclipse coming up. It's from Odyssey 2001. The north and south node, got the lunar and the solar path, and always on the equinox is where the north and south nodes, so they're not really moving, it's just they appear to be going backwards as the other planets are moving. They have a backwards motion. Silver gates, St Louis, J for jellyfish, Jodie Foster, Jane Fonda, and again they're showing, so well, there are 5 people in the car as well, and that's killing 1 and leaving 4. Diaphragm, the jellyfish, the division, Doctor Who, the mutable cross, D'Artagnan in the middle, the Big Dipper, the North Star in the middle of the 4 corners, and we're at that last Chiron's last closing of his cycle. He'll be back in Aries for the 2024 Olympics. Here you've got Egypt, Jordan, and Israel. That little strip of Gaza. The breast of Venus. Says it all. That was just something I noticed in the newspapers. And there is Triple Max. Max Verstappen. He just won his 3rd title of world champion. He's 26 years old. That's the 8-3 champion. And he's showing us the last leg, the 7, and the Red Bull. So that, and so we had on the 10-10, we had Occitan in Toulouse, Oz, Judy Garland, Jour G. And I saw this newspaper, the 13 unknown, anonymous people that run France. And you've got these shadow figures between the pillars. And they've got Mohammed, the 6, as a predator king. That's just the 5-pointed star, bringing in this Marianne with the 3 kings and the 1 woman, just like in Goldilocks and the 3 bears. So this great picture of Lars. You've got air, you've got fire, you've got water, you've got earth. That makes the Star of David. You've got mumbling to the wall, earth, sun in Virgo, Mercury in Virgo, Mars in Virgo, eclipse in Virgo. And we've got the head of the North Node going from Aries to Virgo. So mumbling to the wall, Judaism, mumbling to the floor, Islam, mumbling to the ceiling, Christianity, and mumbling to the decor, air, this Indian religion. The Taurus, the four corners, Star of David. So there we've got, I've just showed you, we've got the silver gates, as in St. Louis, the Ark, that upside down umbrella, umber, Red Bull, always rule the heart as it's the only organ which knows true justice and balance. The mind is polluted. And this is, we went through the BJ pillars. When the Pope closed the door of grace and mercy, everyone was set free. Few will have the plain sight to see it and will unknowingly walk into the abyss in Narnia La La Land. Diplomatic immunity were repealed for everyone working under the jurisdiction of the canon law. In the merging waters of the last leg of Pisces, the UCC transgender agenda will be tried to set off. The parasites need a new squared reset, but the empathetic mankind do not. Go with the flow of nature and avoid the illusionary pillars of Mercury and Venus. They are the trap into definite barcode, QR code queer. So this period of Ophiuchus that we're going through, we've got orange, that's the mixture between the mutable masculine axis, red and yellow, fire and air, and the feminine axis, black and white. And this, it gives us those fake colours, this passage, before we fully fall into Aquarius and Capricorn, the twin peaks. So you got Leo and Libra, Virgo in the middle, rising Mercury, Ophiuchus. Mercury merged with Venus will become the new Saturn. Yeah. Okay, I let you read all that. That is the lens. Zion, Set, Isis, Osiris, Nephthys. With the children of the Nut, the god of the heavens, and Jeb, the god of earth. Set, Isis, Osiris, Nephthys, Zion. Set married Nephthys and Isis married Osiris. Then, as now, they keep it in the family and inbreeding was rife. So, Scorpio, Taurus, of feminine, it's just the same. When you go on to the different crosses, on the mutable cross, they made Virgo, Pisces, Jesus, Mary Magdalene. On the fixed cross, Taurus and Scorpio, Isis and Osiris. The midbrain, when that's just like Jacques de Compostelle being put in the middle now, when Mary Magdalene is that passage, but in Goldilocks it used to be Silverlocks, the old woman. So, you know, it can be one of the triple goddesses. You need the three to find the dark side, fourth phase of the moon. So we're finishing now. This is yesterday, Moon and Venus conjunct on Regulus, Hartly in Gemini, Jupiter, Uranus, Jupiter in Aries, Uranus, they're going to be conjunct. That's going to be a big date when they're completely conjunct. So it's going to be coming back. They were conjunct, Jupiter's retrograde, and then for next year, coming up to the next eclipse, for that 8th, we're going to have Uranus and Jupiter conjunct for that eclipse. And we've got right on the V for victory, the sun and the moon. On the 4th of April, Venus will be under the ecliptic again, and we'll have Saturn and Mars conjunct in Aquarius. Goodness. Okay, let's go back to now. Back to now. Venus rising for the 31st of the 10th, Halloween, and then on the 2nd, got the sun that enters Libra. It enters Libra on Halloween's day as well. And we're going to have all these guys in Libra. Finish these pictures. We've just got one more post, and that's it. All right, so we know that. What did I write? Waning crescent moon on the feet of Jesus, Mary Magdalene at his feet. Moon, Venus conjunct in Leo on Regulus. Sun, Mercury, Mars in Virgo. Saturn on former hold Aquarius, head of fixed cross. Jesus opposite Moon, Venus. Pluto moves direct today, 10:10. In Sagittarius as Neptune still in Pisces, retro, making semi-sextile to Pluto and pointing a finger of God, Yod, to Venus moon on the feet of Jesus. Jupiter, ruler of Sagittarius and Pisces, in high cardinal fire, Aries and Uranus. North-south node move into Virgo, Pisces, Corona, Victor, Axe of Isis. So I got my Jupiter on Regulus, and I've got my moon, Venus, and Mercury on former hold opposite. So I was jumping around. And this last post here, Halloween day as sun enters Libra, ruled by Venus. Venus rises from under the ecliptic where she has spent 50 days invisible under the horizon. She rises above in Virgo, 211, in detriment as the whore of Babylon, Ishtar in the east. Yup, as I've been saying for months, how wow I, 50, bullseye, breast of Venus, mosque, musk, the who. Venus, 5-pointed star, 50 years since dark side of the moon, 50 years since this war, Yom Kippur, which is this atonement date for as well. We saw at the beginning opposites, yeah, so you can see it, you can read all that. We've got everything I've said. Israel, Isis, Scorpio, Ra, Mars, Aries, ELLE, Saturn, lost, dub L07, L7, LG, so G7 is LG, it's just flipped. Liberty and glory, Mars rules Aries, head V, and Scorpio, sexual organs V. Virgo is the fertility tubes, fallopian tubes, Mars in Virgo. Comet Hartly, 10313, is in Gemini, Sirius now on Pollux. Sirius, keeper of the four corners, Sirius. Mercury rules first. That was on the 7th. He was, no, on the 7th we had the moon, that half moon on Sirius. Mercury rules Virgo, Gemini, Mercury in Virgo, Black Madonna and her Dauphin. So just finished with these few pictures. So there's Venus rising above the ecliptic on Halloween's day. There's your 50 days. Hawaii 5-0. The Tower and the High Priestess. 10-6. Sirius, the Greatest King. Eva Peron. That at the beginning of the Gilets Jaunes, when Uranus entered Aries. The Leo da Vinci. Saturn rules the Twin Peaks. Jupiter, right now, he is in Aries, and we've got Pluto here and Neptune here, pointing to Leo, a Yod. There's your G, Gaza, right in the middle. Hand of Fatima. World War II. Watery in the umber of the eclipse, the Venus's 8-year cycle, and all these pictures, you know. Diana, Taurus, and MJ, rulers of the mutable cross, the triple goddesses. Michael Jackson, it's your dirty Diana, wearing yellow black, which is what's happening now. Sagittarius, mutable yellow fire, and Capricorn, black earth. The bee, emerging Capricorn and Sagittarius, Libra and Virgo, Aries and Gemini, and Cancer, high cardinal Cancer with what's the sign with Leo. My head is just Cancer, Gemini. So it's your mosque, that pram with the tit on top of it. That's what we've got coming on. That is your passage, the Philosopher's Stone. Okay, you know all these pictures. October, Cancer, breast, Cancer. It's all worshipping Ishtar. VirgO and LeO, Inanna. That's why we've got the film Nan in England. Dark side of the moon. Out in the news today, World Mental Health Day gets a Harry and Meghan boost. So this is big. And I clicked on this. Mental health is overwhelming. I thought I saw Eris. I actually have opened somewhere else. I've got this is it. So we've got the same thing going on in France. Sex and mental health education is starting from the maternity, the youngest children, and teaching all about this. This is taking over your minds. So this is all in yellow and black. This is the team. Get involved. Check out the team, and the ambassador is Neil White. That's the Nile, the line. And yeah, so this is all this mental health is Jupiter's new religion in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, and in Sagittarius we're going to have the Robin Hoods, we're going to have the Celtic pagan stag gods taking over the lunar energy that we see in Muslim Islam coming in. Leave you with the eclipse coming up. We're going to have another finger of God, this time between Uranus on Algol, Neptune in Pisces, both Uranus and Neptune retrograde and pointing to Sun, Moon, South Node, Mercury. We've got Pallas here as well. They say that Mars will have just entered Libra. Mars will have just entered Libra. So that's today, 12, 13, 14. So there's everybody on that Betty Blue star, 37 degrees, 0.2. And Mars is not in Libra. Mars is still in Virgo. And Venus is still in Leo. We've got Ishtar, the dark side of the moon, this girl rising, and so another finger of God pointing to the eclipse on Spica. Saturn making that opposition still to Venus, and we've got the key and the north node just in Pisces, and Chiron, the Senator, the Chiron's last, the Chi-Rho, the splits. So fixed cross, and this, you know, this sword in the stone in that coronavirus feminine axis. Okay, darlings, I hope you've been able to follow me. I will write a newsletter, get my thoughts together. I have been just too busy to do that before now. And as always, I leave a link for you of my site to come for readings. And I'm sending you all my love. Don't forget that everything going on is purely alchemical. It's just all part of this journey to get through the illusion, to see through the deceptions, and to merge properly yourself, and to find your own God, to find your 13th sign, to find your kingdom. There will be no need of the sun and the moon, because you will have found your lamp, activated your thalamus. We've got Saturn right on Formerholtz. Okay, all my love. I love you very much. Bye.